Okay, so I'm going to talk about something that's happened today. Basically, I was in the jail. I had a phone call from Lauren to say that your car was being clamped, which I thought was a bit odd. It's the car behind me that I'm sat on, because it's in a private car park and I didn't understand why it would be clamped. And I came down, and basically the guy clamping it from the DVLA, a guy called Dom, a lovely guy called Dom, had clamped it because it wasn't taxed, which is weird because it's an automatic renewals. So anyway, so I came out into the car park, I checked with him, he told me it wasn't taxed. I tried to find the proof that it was, and subsequently I couldn't actually find it, which I found weird because it should be taxed. So he started getting a bit funny with me and a bit awkward and a bit difficult. So I decided that what I would do, because he was parked just here, just next to me, next to the other side of this black car, which is one of our staff cars. I decided what we do is we block him in because he had his little van. So we blocked him in completely legally. This car park is a private car park. There's signs all the way over here that say it's a private car park. So there's just signs over there, see, just there. Where am I pointing? Signs there saying it's a private car park. So we blocked him in so he couldn't move, which he felt was illegal, but it actually is not. Private car park, he hadn't asked permission, he hadn't paid the fees, therefore entirely we can block him in. So we did that. And then basically I then went inside to check, and I checked on the DVLA, and sure enough it was saying I wasn't taxed, which I thought was weird. I printed off the forms and checked the forms from the previous tax, and sure enough it said that the car was taxed for the previous year, and it would automatically renew. So I assumed it had automatically renewed. I then came out and spoke to him, and I said that I assumed it. No, sorry, I didn't. I then went online and I thought, it's not automatically renewed. I don't know why it hasn't, but it hadn't. So I taxed it there and then on the computer. He just clamped it. So I went inside to where I work, which is just over the road in the prison. I taxed the car. I had the email proof come through on my phone. So I came back out and I said to him, look, Dom, my name's Joel. We've obviously got on the wrong foot. I was a bit shocked because you clamped my car. You're telling me it's not taxed, which I wasn't aware of. So I've then taxed it. Here's the proof. And I explained to him that what had happened was it had previously been taxed. I assumed it would auto renew because they normally do, and it hadn't. So I therefore said to him, it hadn't done. So I gave him the proof that it had and asked, could he remove the clamp? He refused to remove the clamp, saying that he needed authorization before he could remove it. And I said, well, how do I give you that? I've just proved it. His words were, you have to ring them, here's the information, and they will tell me to remove it. At which point I got a little bit annoyed, I'll be honest, a bit narked. I was like, well, not being funny, mate, but you can't move because your car's blocked in. So if you're going to leave the clamp on, even though I've proved to you I'm now taxed, then I'm going to leave you here and you just stay here all night, effectively. So he was like, I'll ring the police. Fine, ring the police, no worries. It's a bit of a waste of their time, but ring the police. So anyway, whilst he was ringing the police, I got on the phone to DVLA, explained the situation, and they said, yeah, it's all legal, it's all taxed, it's fine. Ring the clamp guys, it's another department in DVLA, and they will release the clamp. There'll be a charge, but they'll do it, so that's fine. So I rang the release clamp guys, explained the situation to them. They said, yep, we can see it, let's have a look on the system. Yep, we can see you taxed the car today at 15.26. Perfect. They went, and it was clamped at 15.33. I was like, okay, I'm sure it was clamped before that, but all right. And basically then turned around and said, it shouldn't be clamped because legally it was taxed before it was clamped. So that was a little bit weird. And then what happened was what had happened was once he put the clamp on, he'd put the clamp on, he'd gone to do the paperwork and input it into the system. By the time it updated on DVLA's system that it was clamped, I'd actually already taxed the car. So I managed to beat him to it. I didn't mean to, I just did because I did it instantly. I wasn't trying to swindle anybody. So he has then called the police. The police have turned up. He's claiming that we've illegally blocked him in, which we haven't. At which point the DVLA is saying on the phone, could they speak to him? I've invited him to come into the prison and he's refused to come in and speak to the DVLA. So the police have walked in. Funny enough, we knew the police officer, so we said hello, explained the situation, said I've got DVLA on the phone. Can you get him in here and we can sort this out? I said, I don't want him to go on, I've got work to do. So the police officer got him to come in, put it on loudspeaker so we could all hear policeman, Dominic from DVLA, myself and the guy a guy called Cameron from DVLA Swansea. And Cameron explained the situation to him, that he'd clamped it after I taxed it. Dominic flipped his lid because he was claiming that whilst he was inputting into the computer, I taxed it. which is true, it's not a lie, but as far as the system showed at Swansea, that's kind of what had happened, was he'd clamped it after I'd taxed it, therefore he had to remove it, and I didn't have to pay a fine. So Dominic flipped with this, really unhappy, kicking off. The police was like, look, mate, that's what they're saying, you need to do it. He refuses to do it until he gets notification from his boss. Storms out of the office, like, this is a fix, this is a fast, you know, this guy's swindling you, you know, he's just pulled one over on you. I'm just like, it's the system, mate, it's the way it is. So he's come out. We've then, you know, I've apologised to the police officer because he's kind of wasting his time sat here because I'm refusing to remove. I've basically said, I will not let this guy go. I will not move the cars until the clamp comes off. As soon as the clamp comes off, I will move the cars and he can leave, and I won't even charge him the fee for parking because, again, he's illegally parked. So that kind of goes on. It goes on for about 20 minutes. So I've made the police officer a cup of tea. We've had a chat. We've gone through it. The police officer's come out. He's tried to reason with him. He's not having any of it. Finally, 20 minutes later, he gets a phone call from his boss saying that he needs to remove the clamp. So very begrudgingly, he starts taking the clamp off. The copper turns around to us. The police officer says, Joel, they're taking the clamp off. Can you please move the cars? No worries, it's absolutely fine. So we've got the cars moved, no worries. As I was doing that, he'd taken the clamp off. I asked if he'd take off because he left a sticker on the window. So you're going to take that off? He said, no, it's your responsibility. I just do the clamp. So I was like, okay, no worries. So I started taking it off. So obviously he left a bit of a state on the bonnet, on the windscreen, but I'm sure it'll come off. I just said, look, you know, no harm, no foul type of stuff. You know, it's like he's shouting abuse at me, telling me that I've got so lucky and, you know, I've got away with it. And I'm just like, I haven't got away with anything, mate. I didn't even know. I'm happy to pay the bill. I'm happy to pay my taxes. No worries. I just didn't even know. So he's really kicked off about this. And copper's just standing around waiting for him to go, effectively. So he takes the clamp off, goes in the car. I've said, look, Dominic, no hard feelings. Do you want a couple of prison tour tickets? I'll grab you a couple of vouchers. You know, bring the wife, friends, whatever. Come on a prison tour. Nope, don't want it. It's fine. Probably can't even accept it, even if you wanted to. So he's doing that, clamp comes off, he does all that. I said, all right, cheers, mate, no worries, no harm, no foul. I've gone back over to the jail, so I've gone back over here with my team, just over here into the door. Doors are all open, it's daytime. We've got a kids' play centre in there, it's about 100 kids coming through a day. So we're in there, copper's over here in the car park, just waiting for him to leave. He pulls back up, and as he pulls back up, just over here, he's just reversed up. I'm stood in the gate with 4 of my staff, 4 females, funny enough. And I've turned around and said, Dominic, you sure you don't want some tickets? You sure you don't want a couple of tickets? He goes, no, can't have it. And as he drives off and the copper comes across it, I apologise, I do apologise. This is not normally the language I would use, but he screams out of his window, cunt, straight over the prison, in front of the staff, in front of potentially children, right in front of a copper, and then drives off. So clearly he was a bit angry. The police have then asked if we want to press charges because it's an antisocial, I think it's an antisocial disorder, section 5 or something he was saying. So do we want to press charges? But to be honest, I wouldn't say I got lucky. Well, I probably did get a bit lucky, but I wasn't trying to swindle anybody. So I was quite happy to pay the bill, which I did pay. I just didn't pay a release fee because I managed to tax it before he did. I guess the point I'm getting to is that was like a guy, somebody for DVLA, shouting abuse at me and in front of my staff and customers in a public place. Because what? Because he didn't get to charge me 50 or 60 quid to release my car, which makes no difference to him because he doesn't earn commission from it. And I just couldn't believe it, that this guy got so irate. And my concern is now he's gone off home and he'll be fuming. He'll be driving around Shrewsbury in Shropshire somewhere, absolutely livid and fuming. And God knows what's going to happen to the next person he comes up against that he dislikes or has a disagreement with. I don't think he's got a particularly fun job. It's a job, so I get that. I wasn't trying to be difficult or awkward, but just his behaviour was just mad. Because once I realised the mistake and I saw it and I taxed the car and I came out and I showed him proof and said, yeah, I accept it's taxed now, but it wasn't when I put the clamp on. I was like, okay, but it is now, so can you just take the clamp off? He was like, no. I was like, okay, well, then we'll just block you in. I will not be held to ransom. You sort out with DVLA. So it's just like, dude, that's mad. You could have just turned around and said, yeah, I see it's taxed. No worries, I'll take the clamp off. Or you could have rung and checked, got the evidence and the proof, and then taken the clamp off. Instead, it took the best part of an hour. It took the police officer the best part of 35 minutes. It didn't cause distress, but could have caused distress to staff and customers. Obviously caused distress to him. I'm not really too bothered, to be honest. Car's tax is fine, I just need to wash it now. But he could have got himself arrested. And if I'd pressed charges, he probably would have got himself fired. So in theory, because if it was me, if one of my staff did that to somebody, and somebody pressed charges, I'd have to absolutely discipline them. But it probably would be gross misconduct, I think. So, yeah, I probably, if I'd really wanted to, could have pressed charges. I absolutely would have been fine because the police officer was there when he said it. And if I'd made a proper complaint, he probably would have lost his job. So I just hope that he sees this video, he learns from it, and next time that he doesn't get his own way, which in the world, unfortunately, we don't always get our own way. Next time he doesn't get his own way, hopefully he'll take it a little bit calmer, a little bit less of a child, and just shrug his shoulders and get on, because plenty of times it hasn't gone my way in life. It was just today. It was one of those days where it did. And next time, maybe don't come and mess with somebody that owns a prison. Just saying. But no, in fairness, I've paid my taxes. I didn't mean to do it, so hands up, made a mistake, rectified it, paid the taxes, all fine. So yeah. Hello.
Hi.
It's Sophie, she was witness. Soph, tell the lovely people what Dominic's leaving words were.
Cunt.
Oh, has such an innocent mouth. So that was Dominic. So Dominic, if you're watching this, please come on a tour. We'd love to see you. Or come on one of our escape events. That'd be even more fun. What? Okay, so prison break tomorrow. So we're just going to finish the prep for that. I've done loads today, haven't I?
No.
I've done loads today. So we'll see you tomorrow for prison break. And that's it. That's my video.